Zach is in his happy place. We have the Ford Maverick Hybrid.
Take my money.
Oh yeah.
This thing's surprisingly quick.
It really is. It's got some good power.
It's a good city pickup truck for light duty stuff. All right, let's get into what's under the hood of this hybrid.
A 2.5 liter 4-cylinder with a hybrid powertrain. It's matched to an eCVT. It has a combined 191 horsepower. This is a front-wheel drive only model.
We're focusing on the hybrid, but there is a second engine option. It's the 2-liter Ecoboost with an 8-speed automatic transmission, a lot of power, 250 horsepower, and 277 pound-feet of torque. Standard all-wheel drive in Canada. In the United States, you can get front-wheel drive or all-wheel drive. And we have a video on that. We'll put the card up here. Great video. Watch it twice.
Yeah, please.
Okay, now we're going to get into what do you get with this? What are the key standard features?
The base trim comes with an 8-inch touchscreen, wired Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, a 4.2-inch driver display, 6-speaker audio system, 6-way manual driver seat, 4-way manual passenger seat, cloth upholstery, power door locks and windows, remote keyless entry, keyed ignition, and FordPass Connect.
It's a rotary dial transmission. What are we going to put it in, Andrea?
Got to put it in S for subscribe. And if you can hit that notification bell, you'll be notified when all of our reviews drop, and then you can watch them.
And we do this, the couple car review, twice a week. The first one drops on Wednesday.
We put another one out on Saturday.
So make sure to like and subscribe, but also follow along on Instagram. It's Motormouth_Andrea to see what's going on behind the scenes and to get a question in. More of that halfway through. For me, it's Motormouth_Auto, and the links are below the like button. Some people complain that that's repetitive to put it in S.
I think it's cute.
If you're a regular,
I love it.
if you're a regular, you can just skip past that. You know that, right? If you're new here, put it in S for subscribe.
Put it in S. Now you gotta stick around for questions, coffee, and cars. We spoke to Ford about some numbers. What sells better, the hybrid or the Ecoboost in Canada and the US?
I know which one I'd choose. It would be this. It's the hybrid. This is the perfect truck. Andrea mentioned it off the beginning. This is my happy place because this is the perfect truck for people like me who don't need to spend what is now a fortune on a mid-sized truck. We used to have a Tacoma.
Yeah.
We sold it 3 years ago.
And uncomfortable, by the way.
It wasn't very comfortable.
No.
And it was a base model 4-cylinder, which is like not even really a thing anymore, and cheap. Now there's no cheap mid-size. This is the cheap alternative.
And that's why it is so popular. People want the Maverick, whether it's the hybrid or the Ecoboost. It's the versatility it offers, the practicality. It's smooth. It gets great fuel economy. I mean, this one is really hard to beat.
So unlike a lot of the mid-sized trucks, this is not a body-on-frame pickup truck. This is a unibody design similar to the Santa Cruz from Hyundai and similar to the Ridgeline from Honda. It's not like Tacoma or Ranger. It's a different beast.
I really like the seating position in this. Of course, you sit up and over the dash. The steering.
I got a height adjustment over here.
How about that? That's available. Height adjustment on the passenger side is available. I also like how quiet the cabin is. The steering is pretty light. It's easy to maneuver. The turning radius is pretty good. Not as good as I thought it would be, but pretty good.
And they've calibrated the suspension to give you some truckiness. It's not like driving a Ford Escape. It's not smooth like that, but it's not as rugged as maybe a Ranger. It's kind of in the middle, but it still has to be able to tow and carry a load. It's going to have firmer shocks anyway. Just the one little thing, Andrea. Ford licenses some Toyota hybrid engineering, and that's why this truck gets such incredible fuel economy and why it's such a great seller. There are some synergies there with Toyota, and my bet is there's going to be a Toyota truck too.
Yeah, I think so too. Now watch when we accelerate. I mean, cabin gets a little bit louder. You would expect it though, but boy, the acceleration is excellent.
So here's a quick clip of Andrea accelerating around a corner, ripping up those tires. It can happen. Well, you know me, Andrea, not a big fan of black wheels, but with this one, it looks really good with this sort of sand color outside and the black accents. I love it.
Well, it's called Terrain, the color, and some people think it's super boring. On Instagram, they're saying, what color is that? Is that beige? Is that light green? It's basically beige, cream, with a gray undertone. Zach and I are surprised by how much we like it. This has got a black exterior package on it, so you've got all the black exterior accents. We like it.
So we're having some work done on our house, and the contractor, I pulled up in the back lane to take some, because we have a truck for the week. I took 2 loads to the dump, Andrea. This is exactly why I like having a pickup truck like this, to get rid of a bunch of stuff. And he was like, what is that? What is that? He's got a big Silverado. And the thing is that I take this to the dump, Andrea, and I forgot to take a picture.
Yeah, you should have. Too bad, Zach.
Take my word for it.
Zach loves going to the dump.
Crazy.
Well, Zach knows how much I love going to the garden center. So this is like totally perfect for me. Now, this Maverick Hybrid gets 8.3 inches of ground clearance. It comes standard with LED headlights. You've got manual folding exterior mirrors. There is an available rear window that opens.
Like that.
And it comes with 17-inch steel wheels, available 18-inch, and a mini spare tire. But you can get a temporary spare tire. It is available. You just have to pay extra for it. Now, the bed size is 4.5 feet. The payload is 1,500 pounds. And if you put down the tailgate, you're going to get a 6-foot bed. So you can put some larger items in there. Someone was asking about a kayak. Yeah, I saw online you could get a kayak in there.
So the thing is, 6 inches, roughly 6 inches, is the difference between this and Ranger. This is so much cheaper.
Yeah.
You could just fold down the tailgate and work around it. Like I said, I took 2 loads to the dump and it gobbled it all up, no problem.
I also want to add there's an FX4 package that'll give you more ground clearance, 8.6 inches. And then there's the Tremor package, and that's going to get you 9.4 inches of ground clearance. I actually saw one in Vancouver yesterday. It looks pretty cool. It's got a bit of a lift on it.
Available in the bed is an LED lighting package and also 400 watts in-bed power. So Ford's done a really good job with the interior. Yes, it's a lot of hard plastic in here. When we first saw it, I remember we were at the Bronco launch, and we first saw it and it was like Tupperware interior. And it is a Tupperware interior. It's a lot of plastic, but they've done a great job with a mix of materials and also color combinations. When you see it, it's totally passable as a work vehicle.
Yeah, and they've got some clever storage solutions in here. There's lots of little cubbies. I like how they went with different door handles. They've made the interior of this vehicle really unique. It's simple, but guess what? It works. Now, you don't get heated front seats and a heated steering wheel as standard equipment, which makes sense. They're trying to keep the cost down, but it is available. Same with a power driver's seat with lumbar support. All of that is manual as standard equipment. And as we mentioned, there is only a manual passenger seat, but an available height adjustment.
Yes, ratchet system. The one thing is, when we drove this 2 years ago, Lariat was not available in the Canadian market. It was in the United States in the hybrid system. And you need to get the Lariat if you want to have push button start. Now, call me lazy, but fumbling for your key to put it in the ignition is something I don't want. If I'm spending all this money in a brand new truck, it should be on all trims in my opinion. But if you want that feature, you're going to have to spend for this one. And it gets expensive, but it is available.
There's also available Sync 3 that you can get. It doesn't change the size of the screen. It's a standard 8-inch touchscreen. That's all you get in this model.
I can see there's going to be a bigger screen coming, Andrea. There's a little spot next to it where they could put a bigger screen.
And do you remember they added last time we drove it, you could add some accessories on here. You can clip some things on. Like I said, super clever storage solutions.
You know what's really clever?
In here.
You could put a big bag of high chew in the armrest from Costco.
Yeah. Other available features include dual automatic climate control, remote start, a wireless charger, 8-speaker B&O sound system, a moonroof, acoustic windshield, and Ford Copilot 360. The Lariat model comes standard with all of these features.
And here's me getting in the back seat. Andrew's going to read the numbers to you in a moment, which is kind of shocking. There's actually pretty good space back here for a compact truck. And not bad headroom. How does it stack up?
Comparing the Maverick to the mid-size Toyota Tacoma Hybrid, it offers 42.8 inches of front row legroom, which is an inch more than the Toyota. Second row legroom at 35.9 inches is also bigger, offering an extra 2 inches.
All right, we got some interesting numbers for you. Coffee time. Let's get at it.
Time now for questions, coffee, and cars.
Your questions from Instagram.
I'd be interested if the hybrid came in all-wheel drive. Any word on whether this will be available in the future?
Well, if I was going to Vegas and going all in on they're going to have an all-wheel drive, probably plug-in, I would say yes.
I don't see why. Why couldn't they do a hybrid
Well, they
all-wheel drive? They got it in the Escape.
Mm-hmm.
They share the same powertrain. So I don't see why not. I'm actually surprised it's not here yet.
I think what they're trying to do is absolutely clobber everybody on the low end of the market and capture a big market share, which they're doing. We're going to talk about that in a moment. So I think that, they're selling a lot. They can't make enough of the front-wheel drive ones, never mind about all-wheel drive ones.
Well, do you remember when we first reviewed the Maverick, the hybrid powertrain was standard, but now in the U.S., it's the Ecoboost that's standard, and you have to pay extra for the hybrid, which reflects the numbers, because here are the numbers.
Yeah. Okay, we're going to get into the numbers. Let's get into the numbers. We reached out to PR in Canada, and they gave us Canadian and U.S. numbers. This is quite interesting.
It's very interesting. So these are 2023 numbers. So in Canada, 1 in 3 hybrids are sold. So more are buying the Ecoboost in Canada.
It makes sense because of the all-wheel drive with the inclement weather.
In the U.S., no, over half of them are hybrids, which now doesn't surprise me that they have. You got to pay extra for the hybrid,
You think of how many states don't have harsh winter, right?
I know.
So you have the Sunshine Belt. California's this whole market unto itself.
Yeah.
I mean, listen, we live in Vancouver. We don't get a lot of snow here. We get cold weather and some frost, but I would have no problem with just the hybrid.
Well, we own 2 front-wheel drive models. We just put a good set of winter tires on, and we are good to go. Here's some other stats that Ford shared with us. For every 1 Santa Cruz from Hyundai that's sold, 2 Mavericks are sold in Canada in 2023.
It's even more stark in the U.S.
Yeah, and in the U.S., for every 2 Santa Cruz, 5 Mavericks are sold. And then also, if you add together compact and mid-sized trucks in the segment, Maverick comes in number 2 to Tacoma. And it beats out the GMC Twins.
Which is interesting to me, which is telling me that Maverick is outselling Ranger. Right? Because
he didn't say anything about Ranger.
Yeah, but he says Tacoma's number 1.
Yeah.
Right? So you think about that. So there's a new Ranger, which is vastly improved. I think that will improve for them. But the price of, as we've talked about already, the price of mid-sized trucks is so expensive. This is now the sweet spot. Put your seatbelt on. Guarantee there's going to be a Toyota hybrid one day soon.
Oh, I think it's coming. It's coming, a smaller version of it, right? Is the reliability a concern? It looks like Ford isn't doing that great overall in terms of recalls.
Yeah, but it depends what the recall is. I mean, if it's a recall is about the engine's blowing up or the transmission falling out, that's one thing. If it's just niggly early production stuff, which it seems like it was, listen, the one we drove 2 years ago when this first came out, and then we wanted to buy that specific truck, and they wouldn't sell it to us. They knew they had something good. Should we buy this one?
No, we have to eliminate. I already said we have to eliminate some cars if we're going to buy the Maverick. It's the way it is.
Our colleague in Quebec, Antoine Gilbert, he's the top auto journalist in Quebec. He's got 20 cars, Andrea.
I know. We don't need 20. We live in the city.
Okay,
we can't do it.
Back to what I was saying. I forgot. I want this truck. If you compare that one to this one is quieter, more refined. They've worked on it even in 2 years, in my opinion.
Oh, yeah, it's fantastic. We still love it just as much, and it's even better. Okay, so reliability scores for the Maverick are excellent. Even Consumer Reports gives it a 77 out of 100 for an overall score, 60 out of 100. But guess what? Owner satisfaction.
Well, let me guess. Out of who is this?
Out of 5.
Who's
Consumer Reports out of 5. Owner satisfaction.
5.
5 out of 5. And then JD Power gives it a better score, 82 out of 100, and then a reliability score of 85 out of 100. Now, there was a recent recall. I just want to mention 63,000 Maverick hybrid models years 2022 and 2023 were recalled because the instrument panel may not light up when it's dark.
So as I said,
and it's not all of them. They're just checking
the
it.
engine isn't falling out and the transmission's not blowing up or whatever I said. That can be fixed. That's not the end of the world.
Yes.
Take my money.
I've always asked why a person not related to construction or any other necessity for an open bed would choose a truck over an SUV for day-to-day life.
Well, Andrea's already talked about the rear seat and how much bigger this is, and even some mid-sized trucks like Tacoma.
Yeah.
You could live with this as a family unit. I mean, kids could sit in the back, no problem. And then you've got the pickup truck bed for things you need. Plus, it's an amazingly efficient hybrid. I can see why these things are selling.
Well, Zach knows how much I like to go to the garden center. And if I'm keeping extra people and taking some passengers, guess what? I can put all my stuff in the bed, and I can take 3 in the back and 1 in the front.
That's what she said. And now it's time for our hot topic. What's this one, Andrea?
Love mine. Is Ford totally abandoning battery production or scaling back from EV intensive work to focus on hybrid battery production?
So a couple of recent announcements from Ford. One is they're delaying their next generation of full EVs. So I think they're just going to run with F-150 Lightning and Mustang. Even here in Canada, they delayed the Oakville assembly plant. They were supposed to put an EV in there. They've delayed it 2 years. And Jim Farley has gone out and said, what, Andrea, about Ford and their vehicles?
Farley says that they're going to put a hybrid in every vehicle by 2030. Now, it's not that EV sales are not up for Ford. They are up, but they're just not growing at the rate that they initially thought. So they're going to scale back a little bit, and they're going to focus on hybrids and plug-in hybrids, which I think is a fabulous idea.
Good idea. All right, let's get into the amazing fuel economy, the pricing, and more in our vital stats.
Let's start with pricing. In Canada, it starts at just under $36,000, and the top Lariat model is just over $46,000. In the US, the XL model starts at just over $25,000, and the top trim is just over $34,000.
Here's the amazing fuel economy, just 5.6 liters per 100 kilometers in the city, 7.1 on the highway. That's an incredible 42 miles per gallon in the city, 33 miles per gallon on the highway. The tow rating is 2,000 pounds, and the warranty is 3 years, 60,000 kilometers or 36,000 miles. So you want a small to mid-size pickup truck. What else can you buy, including a hybrid?
For your consideration, 4 vehicles for you to consider.
Up first is the Santa Cruz with a turbocharged 2.5-liter 4-cylinder, 281 horsepower, and a starting price just under $43,500.
The Honda Ridgeline with a 3.5-liter V6, 280 horsepower, and a starting price of almost 50 grand.
The new Ford Ranger with a turbocharged 2.3-liter 4-cylinder, 270 horsepower, and a starting price of over $44,000.
The Toyota Tacoma Hybrid with a 2.4-liter turbo 4-cylinder and the hybrid system, and combined 326 horsepower and a starting price of $63,500.
So there are 4 pickup trucks for you to consider.
Lightning round. 2 things we like, 2 things we like to see improved.
I love that Ford has produced an affordable pickup truck.
I think this thing is a home run. It has been a home run.
What I'd love, at least for Canada, an all-wheel drive hybrid option.
Push button start on all trims, please. Well, there you go. That's the Maverick Hybrid. What do you think of that?
Thanks for watching, and if you like what you see, subscribe. We'll see you next time.